If you have a food storage program, and I hope you do, you have probably stored um, either wheat, or you've stored flour, something like that, maybe some cornmeal, or corn that you're going to grind. At some point, if you have those things, you're going to need baking soda. So it's something I hadn't really thought about in the past, and I've decided to save some baking soda. Now this came from Sam's. It's 13.5 pounds. It's a big, big bag of baking soda, and has a resealable top, but I feel like I'm going to get a much better, much more long-term storage out of it if I seal it in mason jars like I do some of my other products. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to put up some baking soda for the long term. I feel like this is really going to make a mess because baking soda is so fine. But I'm going to put it in quart jars. And it's going to take several. This is 13.5 pounds of baking soda. So it's going to take a number of quart jars, and I'll tell you just how many in just a minute. But basically, you put it in there. I always use a canning funnel. That just makes your life so much easier. I'm going to bring it up to just about the top, certainly to the fill line, to the shoulder, the edge of the shoulder, because the less air in there, the better. Now we're going to vacuum seal it. We're going to take all the air out, but still, there's no sense filling it up halfway or whatever. Go ahead and fill it up. And then sometimes doing a powder with a Foodsaver or a food sealer can be a problem. The powder can get in there, so I'm going to do something to try to alleviate that problem, and I'll show you that in just a second. Let me fill these jars up. Well, so a 13.5 pound bag filled up 7 quart jars. That's a lot of baking soda. But just remember, it's not just for baking. You can make cleaning products out of it. You can put it in your laundry to keep it smelling better, refrigerators, things like that. In a situation where maybe stores are not available, if we ever get down to that, I think years ago they used baking soda as an antacid. Would mix up some in water and drink for an antacid. So if you're one of those who depends on Tums and Rolaids and Nexium and whatever, just consider a world without that, and that may prompt you to save some baking soda. So anyway, let me show you how to seal them up. Like I said before, one of the problems with doing a powder like this is sometimes the powder will get in your Foodsaver. So make sure you wipe the rims off real good. I'm going to do it with a wet towel. And then I've got my lids. Actually, I'm going to do something else. Because I don't want the powder getting in my machine, to try my best to alleviate that, I'm going to take a coffee filter and just make a barrier with the coffee filter. Then I'll wipe it off. And then I will seal it up. I've got my jar lids soaking in some hot water here. I heated that up in the microwave. And because this is a dry product, if it was a wet, canning green bean, something like that, you wouldn't wipe it off. But I don't want any water in there. So I'm going to wipe the moisture off the inside of the lid. Put that on there. This is a canister sealer for regular mouth. Put that on. Put the hose on. This Foodsaver has a canister attachment. The hose is separate. These are separate. The jar sealer, the lid sealers are separate from the Foodsaver as a general rule. But you just put that on there. On my Foodsaver, I have a button that says canister, which means the vacuum action is going to be coming through the hose, instead of in the machine. So I push canister. That means it's through. Listen to the vacuum. Pull that off. That lid is sealed, pressed in. I'm gonna put a ring on it and I'm gonna leave a ring on it. Sometimes I don't leave rings on them, but since I know a powder sometimes can coat that lip, even though I know I wiped it off pretty good, sometimes if a powder gets on that lip, and it may have in the drawing process, in the vacuum process, I'm gonna put a lid on it, leave a lid on it, and for that reason, I just in case it does come loose, I will check it from time to time, like I do other things that I vacuum like this. I'll just go through my storage and just push on it. If it's not sealed, most of y'all know this. If you're not sealed, you'll hear a when you push on it, but it is sealed, and there's one down, 6 to go.